Of the Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. We'll now move on to item 2 on the agenda, the Pledge of Allegiance. Juanita, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Juanita. We'll now move to the adoption of the agenda. Danitza?
Chairman Varona, I move that we adopt the agenda as is.
I'll entertain a motion based on the recommendation of the library director that the agenda for today, February the 8th, be passed and adopted as presented and recommended.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Vanderbilt,
Second.
seconded by Juanita? Oh, Marva, I'm sorry. Marva? Discussion? Objections? Motion carried. We'll now move on to item 4, the call to the public. Danitza?
No one at this time, Chairman.
All righty. And then we'll move on to discussion items. 5.1, security issues and centennial celebration. Lieutenant Bermudez.
Good morning to the
morning.
board and directors. Security issues, there have been just a couple suspicious person calls at the library. Officers made contact, one had a warrant, others were dispersed. There was an alarm activation that we responded to at the library. There was also a motor vehicle accident in the area, but it had nothing to do with the library. That was the past month. I'm not sure if Lieutenant Gallego had any more, but that's what I found out for the past month. I know Lieutenant Gallego is a little bit busy right now, so I just prepared this quick presentation for the security issues right now. As far as the centennial celebration, I did come up with the operations plan. Director mentioned something about blocking off the parking, which is fine with us. We could block it off as long as street department gets barricades, and we'll set them up for you and everything. We'll have an officer there in the front as it starts, and once he or she, that officer sees that the traffic is no longer an issue, they could move inside for security and presence there at the celebration. And the other officer, there's going to be 2 officers. The other officer can be already inside, out the back, just to make sure everything's okay inside. So there'll be 2 officers, one for traffic, one for the inside and roaming around, just to make sure everything is okay. If there is a need for a 3rd officer or more, there's plenty of patrol officers that can come in and assist, and then if they're not busy with calls, and then leave as they see fit. But 2 officers for sure will be present at the celebration for traffic and for security presence inside.
Since Lieutenant Bermudez, since the front parking lot will be closed to the public the entire day, as well as the library itself until this activity starts at 5 o'clock, the parking will be in the backside there. And the people that come in, which I would think at 1 person per invitation, that's 100 cars in the back. I don't know how the lighting, if you could check the lighting in the back. If not, if you could bring in some portable lighting to make sure that nobody trips over anything. So there's plenty of lighting in the back. And because we kind of want to have 1 officer there at the entrance to make sure, because we have to abide by the fire code and tell people in case they want to come in that didn't get an invitation that they can't come in because we got to obey the fire code.
Okay. Yeah. Traffic control will be
In the front.
in the front. In the back, there should be plenty of light. I been there. I worked nights, so There should be plenty of light in the back. But if anybody wants to pass by at night, and if that's not enough lighting for you, please feel free to reach out, and that way we can set up some lighting there, extra lighting. But there should be plenty of light in the back. But like I said, if anybody wants to go back after hours, make sure that the lighting is satisfactory. Please let me know as soon as possible. That way we can actually set up the lighting for that event.
We'll leave that up to you, Denisa, to look at. And the officer in the back, he will stay there the entire time from 5 to 7:30 to make sure the cars are safe and everything like that?
Yes, 5 to 8, I believe we had.
Is that what you had? 5 to 8? That's even better, 5 to 8.
Yeah,
By the
5
time everybody leaves, it'll probably be closer to 8 o'clock, though.
Yeah, so 5 to 8, just to make sure that everybody's there. And like I said, if we do need more people, more officers present, we could easily call somebody in to help out.
And when you said, whose responsibility is it to get the barricades for the front parking lot?
That would be streets. The director can make contact with the street department just to have the
So
barricades.
Danitza's responsible to set it up with the street department, or you are?
The Danitza could set it up. We could just close it off at whatever time you need, whether it be
You'll coordinate that then.
yeah, whether it be before 5 or at 5 when the officers get there. We could close it off, just as long as the street department leaves it there for us to close off.
Okay. Ana?
Lieutenant Bermudez, I have a question about, I work through Alfredo Velasquez, the county school superintendent's office, and we have a mobile library, the Santa Cruiser, that we would like to park in front of the library, but we are worried about security. And so what do you recommend we do? So we'd like the community to see it. We'd like it to be there. It will be there the day of the reception, but do we have to move it? Can we keep it there for a few days so that the community can see it? What is the safety situation of having it parked in front of the library?
I believe it should be okay.
Okay.
Being, obviously, you'd have to contact the director, see if it's okay with her to have it there parked for a few days. But if it's there for a few days, just make sure we know when and where it's going to be parked. And we could actually set up security checks, make sure officers go, get off, and make sure nobody's inside or messing with the mobile bookstore. But yeah, as long as you let us know when, where, how long, we could have officers check it after hours, whenever there's not going to be any library or library employees there. We could check it. And also, I'd recommend, the library does have good cameras. Maybe have a camera pointed at it just in case. But we do have we can have officers check it either on an hourly basis, every 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever we need to.
Thank you very much. That's going to be really exciting for the community.
Turn on
Thank
your
you.
mic.
Oops. Thank you very much. It's very exciting for the community. Thank you.
No problem.
Juanita?
Thank you. Very reassuring.
You're welcome.
Ed?
Thank you. No questions.
Marva?
No questions.
Brian?
Nothing.
Jerry? Okay, Lieutenant Bermudez, I think that our next meeting, this will be the finale for the centennial, because we're going to have that on the March the 2nd. So Danitza will coordinate everything else with you directly.
Yes, and I'll make sure the operations plan is presented to Anita, so she knows exactly what's going on, and that way we'll be all set for March 2nd.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate all of your help, Lieutenant.
Thank you, no problem.
Agenda item number 2 under section 5, Sonoita Building Update. Juan Valderas. Mr. Valderas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members. So just a quick update on the progress of the remodel in Sonoita. So we put out a request for proposals for the construction drawings and electrical engineering that needs to happen. So we did select VVC Design to do that work. So they're currently doing that work, and I think it should wrap up within the next 5 weeks, is what they're telling me, to get that. And then once we have that, we can actually start getting the actual construction people to start bidding on that construction job. So that's kind of where we're at with the remodel of the building. And just a quick update on the internet situation. We had signed an agreement with CenturyLink to provide an internet circuit to that building so we could service the entire building. They came back to us that they had underbid that circuit. So they came back to us with a different proposal. It went through our legal team. Our legal team had some concerns of how they were trying to structure the deal. So they had some recommendations for us to implement. It is now back with CenturyLink Lumen now for their response. So we're still waiting on Lumen on that part. With that, if you have any questions.
Anna?
What I've noticed that on I-19, they're laying the fiber optic cable, and it's just almost in my backyard. How is that going to change the internet services within the library systems?
I mean, I think for the most part, most libraries have decent internet in like Nogales, Rio Rico. I know that there's capacity available in Tubac, right? So this was specifically for the Sonoita, the eastern part of the county, because the service out there is pretty bad. So we were working with Lumen to try to improve that service. And I mean, we started that process. I mean, we signed an agreement with Lumen July, I want to say, something like that. And it kind of took them a while, and then they kind of came back with it was going to cost a lot more than what they had originally proposed. So they wanted us to just kind of sign a longer term agreement, right? But then it kind of falls off a state contract, and we could no longer use those, procurement vehicles to procure that circuit. So then legal had some recommendations. So we're just waiting back for Lumen to get back to us.
Conclude? Juanita?
Yes. I had a question about the time you're waiting back for the response. How long was this contract you were not signing yet for the term? You said that it goes over the time that you. What is that?
Correct. So Lumen was asking for a 5-year contract, which we're fine signing, right? But it kind of falls outside of a state contract. So then, due to procurement rules, we have to kind of dot our I's, cross our T's, right? And make sure that everything falls within like a competitive kind of a bid for those type of situations. If the original contract we signed was under a state contract, so that's a pre-bid by the state, we just kind of piggyback off of those contracts. So it allows any government agency or anybody that kind of piggybacks off those contracts to opt out after a year, and that's how they're kind of structured, right? But once we kind of go beyond the scope of procurement rules, it's we have to get legal involved, and the county's fine with it, and we agreed to it, but we have to abide by those procurement rules. So,
Well, my understanding is that the fiber optic or the 5G lines are going to Patagonia. They're through Sonoita right now, but Sonoita will not have any access. Do you have any idea if that will come about and how it would affect your contract if they do get the 5Gs out there?
right. So there's a couple of projects that are kind of happening across the county that we're kind of involved in, and there is a project. I think the one you're probably talking about, it was an E-rate project through the Patagonia School, the high school and the school out there, they're bringing in some fiber. Along with that, we were able to, through the ACA, Patagonia area was awarded some additional money, about $2 million to bring additional capacity into that region. Along with that, Sonoita does benefit because there are some cross intersections that the fiber kind of gets to the Sonoita area, right? But it's what we refer to the last mile, right? Actually getting it to the homes. And that's kind of the costly part. And that's what we originally were trying to do in this situation, is to get it from, I think like the fiber kind of ends up where the 4-point intersection is.
On 82 and
Yeah.
83.
And so to bring it into the building, right? At the same time, I think the fairgrounds had also did something similar, and they also they were able to acquire some circuits through that. But I think they're governed under some other rules, so they could quickly, move on those. Versus us, we need to make some changes to the contract language, and that's what usually holds up. So right now, the contract is with Lumen. So as soon as they sign off on it, we'll sign off on it and get going on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ed,
No questions.
Marva,
I don't either, no.
Ryan?
Well, I've got so many questions that I don't know where to start. But you said you initially contacted or communicated with Lumens in July. So this is the month of February. That's 8 months, I guess, or 9, somewhere. So what happens when they approve it? And then what's involved, as you just commented, getting the last mile, getting from the street into the buildings is always an expensive or a difficult proposition. What will happen when it's going down the street? How will you get it into the building? How will you get it into the library?
So we already, I'm not sure if you guys have been down there. I invite you to go down. This all kind of started with the partnership with WIOA. They kind of built out some offices there. They kind of, they didn't move any walls, but they kind of painted some walls. And so part of this was going to be funded through them, right? So we did already, add what we call a little server room, right? With cooling. We ran all the appropriate conduit to the exterior. So CenturyLink just has to come in and basically hand off a cable to the exterior of the building, and we've taken care of the rest, right? They will probably need to trench a little, but it's not very much. As you can see, if you've seen I-19, right, they've done that in the span of, maybe, a couple months, maybe 4 months or so. But I mean, that's from here to Tucson, right? So I suspect once they actually get people doing on that, get working on that, it would take, no more than a couple weeks at that, but it's just getting them to agree. And once again, we had a signed agreement with them. But what the state contracts allows them to do is not only allows us to back out, right? It also allows them to back out if something outside of their scope kind of happened. In this case, they're saying that it's going to cost a lot more than they originally thought. So those kind of pre-bid contracts allow them to back out, as it would allow us to just back out. Now we're moving outside of these pre-bid contracts. So they're going to lock us in for 5 years. And these situations, we don't have any kind of recourse. If we want to back out before the 5 years are out, like, we owe them 5 years worth of service. Like, it's a lot harder to get out. That's why legal kind of gets involved, and there's some negotiation on certain aspects of it. But yeah, once we sign that 5-year agreement, we're going to be on the hook for 5 years. And so are they, to deliver service for 5 years, and then subsequential.
Do you have any time frame for the electrical design? That was the beginning of your presentation?
So yeah, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that.
5 or 6 weeks?
Yeah, to get all the engineering done. All the one of the things that we kind of noticed once we kind of started getting in there, one of the walls that we want to move to open up that space. One of the panels, one of the electrical panels is right there. So that kind of made us have to redesign some of that. So that's kind of the reason why we have to redesign the electrical portion of it.
Thank you. No further questions.
Jerry?
No questions.
Okay, Mr. Balderas, thank you very much. We look forward to your continued participation. It's unfortunate that CenturyLink can't submit a concrete bid, that they have to go back and say, we bid it too low, because it doesn't look good on their engineers, on their abilities to grab a project and bid it appropriately. But we look forward to your presentation in March.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 3, presentation, Tubac Library, Bailey Lamb Garcia. You need to press the mic, the button there on the mic so we can hear you. The black button there.
The red light, the little red
Is
light.
it the red?
The screen is on. Hi. I want to thank you all again for allowing me to present today. And also thank you, Denitza, for allowing me to work at the big library in Nogales, City of Nogales Library. I've always wanted to at least try one day to work there, it's like the quote unquote big library compared to my little two-back little country place. So it's a different feel, and it's already been a really good day. So thank you again. And in case you have any questions about my name change, it was changed to Bailey Bethany Garcia. I had too many, it got too tedious on the phone when I would answer her and say, hi, my name is Bethany. Hi, Stephanie. Or Brittany, anything. So we just wanted to make it easier for everyone and say Bailey. And everyone seems to like it, and I enjoy it too. So I just wanted to get that clear. So we had a great month in the first month of the year of January 2023. It was a great turnout of almost 300 patrons, and we were really happy about that with all the travelers and snowbirds. These months between, I guess it's around November till like March is the really high season where there's a lot of people, and it was the busiest in January, December, I would say. And I always compare notes back and forth between before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and now. And we're almost back to where we were before the pandemic. So it was very scant numbers during that year of 2020, just like half of the amount now. So what we've been doing is I took down the Christmas decorations and prepared for an engaging display for people of color for the Martin Luther King holiday. And then January's end, I moved that aside and put up some Valentine's Day decor and books for both kids and adults. Plenty of romances out there. And with all the travelers, like I said, all the newcomers and snowbirds, we had a lot of people requesting library cards, and that came to 9 total, which is pretty high for library cards made and requested. Now, the children's area has always been so inviting and welcoming, and people always ask me a lot. I get a lot of questions if there are a lot of children who enjoy it, and I just tell them it's an on and off sort of thing. we've reorganized, and it's very cozy, welcoming, and inviting. And I and everyone else who comes in enjoys that. And I say, if we haven't had kids, we'll just enjoy the child inside, our own inner child, and feel cozy in the library. But the local school was involved, and it moved just a little bit further away the past year, and it may have also have created less opportunity for them to get here. So, however, I am staying in contact and building a good rapport with the head of the school, and eventually they will have a field trip out here to the library. We hope at least once before the end of the year. And in the meantime, I still work with Mary Gilbert's small pod school of middle school kids, which she created in response to the pandemic. Just a little small group of kids, maybe only 3 or 4, that they come in for a reading hour once a month. They work with me really well. And this month they focused on the works of William Shakespeare, and I read that to them, and they were assigned to take notes, which they did very well. So that went well. And speaking of kids, we had one eventful day where it was a very busy room for our small library of 4 or 5 adults, and then suddenly a mother comes in with 2 kids, and the oldest girl was holding a little small baby German Shepherd puppy, in a little case. It was adorable. It hadn't even had its eyes opened. So that was really exciting. She was holding it and let everyone look at it, and they got cozy on the floor and enjoyed it. And I had to get my daughter involved, who's almost 14. She had early release from the Montessori school there, and she was just thrilled to enjoy this impromptu puppy encounter. So that was great. And I would like to say again that it has been a great month with a lot of happenings, and I feel so proud to be a part of this library, which provides for people of all ages and all types. And I'm looking forward to the next month, where we'll probably revamp and do another display for spring. St. Patrick's Day, we have a lot of books with those Irish authors featured, and gear up and keep in tune with what's going on with the bicentennial, the centennial, not the bicentennial, the centennial for the library. I'm glad to keep in greater touch with everything that's going on. So the travelers, the locals, and the school children in this area of Tubac all enjoy this library so much, and it makes me feel very grateful and proud to be a part of it. And that's all I have to say, so thank you again.
Jerry?
Any questions? So, sorry.
The school that you referred to having relocated, was that the Montessori?
Yes.
Okay.
Montessori de Santa Cruz is the full name of it.
And what years does that offer classes? From what grade?
They've expanded just this past year to include all the way to middle school. But in my day, we called it junior high, right? So it's middle school. My daughter's in 7th, and she'll be going to 8th next year.
So it's first grade to?
All the way to 7th grade, correct.
Thank you.
It has moved one exit over past the checkpoint. So sometimes we have traffic to deal with that too, go through there. But that's all. It's not that much further away.
Brian?
Bethany, how many years have you worked in the library?
I think it's by this May, it should be 3 years. I started the year before the pandemic, so it was quite a exciting time.
For those of you who don't know, Bethany is a very dedicated employee and librarian in Tubac, and the library is very attractive and very welcoming. The word that she used is it's really a beautiful little library for the community of Tubac, and for those of you board members that haven't had a chance to visit it, I strongly encourage it. Thank you for everything you do, Bethany.
Thank you.
Marva?
I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure my speaker's
It's
not
on.
working. Okay,
It's not working. Oh,
I
there
know,
it is.
well,
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask you about the cabinet in the back. Last time I was at your cozy little library.
Your microphone turned off, Mar.
I know, it just comes on and off all the time.
Take Ed's.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's blinky.
My question was, did the cabinet in the back, you had, at that time, you were talking about having a new cabinet in the back with a sink replacement or something. Did that ever happen?
It was suggested. The sink, I think, is the one thing that is blocking the opportunity because I don't know how hard it is to rearrange plumbing. And I know they did have a plumbing problem earlier last year, and we had taken pictures of it and had ideas of just throwing that whole sink out and putting a couch and an extra shelf for books. And it is possible. I was able to do that with the other side where we had rearranged some shelves, and down below I have like a little game area where the kids can get cards and games and things. So, but I think the hardest thing that could be blocking is the fact that it is plumbing, and I'm not a plumber. I don't. I know it could be hard to deal with that part. That may be the most expensive, or whether it be time, money, or people management.
So there's been no follow through on that?
Well, we just looked into it, and that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We hope to in the next year. I hope.
Hope so. Thank you. So,
Any other questions?
Ed?
I just want to thank you for working with the late minute recruit that I was able to get from Tubac for the book raffle. You were able to work with Charlotte Nelson, one of your patrons.
Yes, it went
And
very well.
It was my concern was finding one from Tubac itself rather than me going over
Oh, yeah.
to be with the raffle. And then we were able to connect, and you were very cooperative in working with her, and she was very pleased to have been able to help out on the raffle, and it went very, very well. Thank you so much. Yes.
Juanita?
Thank you, Bailey, and keep up the good work. I wondered if those, the students, do they all have library cards? The students that come from the Montessori school and the middle school kids, do they?
Well, I'm sure quite a few of them do. I don't know now. It was almost 2 years ago. It was a little mini project, and I had a great friend of mine. Her name is Claire McJunkin, and she took over and was fabulous. She went and got every one of those kids' cards at the community center, not the community center, at the Montessori school. Now it's been a couple of years. They may be expired, but at least they're involved, and they've all had cards. And we could probably check into that and see if they're up to date when they come out on another field trip this year. So.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, it's
Thanks
been
so much.
great.
Thank you.
Anna?
Bailey, back to the mobile library. I'd like some input. And the mobile library has the javelinas honoring what used to be in front of the Tubac Library, but I guess they're gone, your painted javelinas. But is there a location that you can suggest? The mobile library will be there when your library is closed. And of a location where families in your area are, I know because it's such a rural area, where would you recommend we park the mobile library? The only caveat is we'd need to be like by a coffee shop or someplace because it doesn't have a bathroom. So is there a location in your area that you would think would be ideal to park the mobile library?
I think there is a great spot because if you go to the Tubac Market,
Okay.
and there's a lot of area out there. There's like this front area where there's a bike rack, and then you can go. There's a patio where you go further in, and it looks like there's a place where people can play, like a little banister area where people could play music, and then there's more shops in there, and it's like a lot of open space where you can have it right up front. I know for a fact because I did Girl Scout cookie sales there too, and there's other shops where you could ask for the bathroom, and they're very helpful, The guy who runs the Two-Back Market is Howard, and he's worked with me with the Girl Scouts, and he's worked with other Girl Scouts, and I hope he would help you.
Well, that's wonderful. One of the things that we're planning to do is set up a schedule so that the community can expect us at a certain time, a certain day. So I'll get back to you about setting that up with Howard.
Harold.
Harold, okay.
God, I was wrong for a minute. Yeah, it's Harold.
Thank you, Bailey.
You're welcome.
During your presentation, you alluded to the tributes that you had at the library there to Martin Luther King. Did you do anything for Hispanic Heritage Month, which was last month, and presently with Black Heritage Month?
Last month was,
Hispanic.
no, I was not aware. I'll try to think of that next year, but I do know that someone recently donated a book that covered Hispanic and Black heritage. It was just people of color, and it was a beautiful, brand new book, and I put it through so it could be used in our library. It'll be perfect for that for both occasions.
Why isn't she aware, or why
Hispanic
aren't you
heritage.
aware of Hispanic heritage or Black
It's
heritage?
in January.
We are? How come she's not aware of it?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We'll move on to item 4 on the agenda, Centennial Celebration.
Thank you again.
Banners, pamphlets. Marva?
Well, as you can see, the pamphlets are done. They've been delivered and folded. The next step would be distribution, and I'm not sure how Denitza wants to do that or who's in charge of distributing them.
The pamphlets or the banners?
The pamphlets. Have they been paid
Pamphlets?
for? It's complete, right?
Everything's there. Yeah, everything's at the
delivered,
library.
it's all
We're going to be distributing to the libraries and also to Chris Young, so he's able to distribute to the schools.
So they're going to distribute to the schools? Mm-hmm. Okay, because I took a box and I thought you wanted Prince to do that, but that's okay.
If you want to do that, also just let me know which schools you're going to go
Not
to.
really.
So
If you've got someone to do it, that's great.
yeah, I do.
Okay, wonderful. And the banners, the format is complete. It's been turned over to Denitza to work with Miguel and decide on the size. Has that happened? The size and everything?
The size he discussed with Denise, and the banners will be ready next week.
Okay,
I think we're going through these pamphlets came out beautiful.
they came out very nice, yeah.
I think this is going to be a plus, and we have enough to go ahead and keep all of the libraries and the community plenty supplied, especially the schools, so that they're aware of it.
Yeah, we've got
Plenty
lots
that
of
were
them.
published in that. So everything's fine.
yeah.
You did a wonderful job on this, Marva. Are there any questions or comments for Marva on the pamphlets or the banners? Anna?
Again, first of all, they're beautiful. They're beautiful, so exciting. And I was an elementary teacher for 100 years. This would just get everybody excited. You know, I love it. I love it. And I would like for Alfredo Velasquez, the county school superintendent's office, we just moved to the 1904 courthouse. And on the bottom floor, and we have families and children and music and art and everything going on. I'd love to be able to display them down there. But also we have Maya Donnelly, who's in charge of the Gear Up program in the middle school and high schools. So I think she would, if you've given me enough to give to her, and then also Teresa Spriggs, who is working with the K through 5 schools throughout the county, she would distribute them too. And so, yes, we would love, they're beautiful, beautiful. Thank you.
And I should thank Denise because she helped me figure out how to download the pictures. She's a little more tech than I am, but she showed me how to do it, and then I just had
Went at
fun
it.
downloading those pictures.
Great. It's good to have that everybody's working together in a positive direction like that. Okay, newspaper articles, Nan, you have an update with Nan, Denise? Danitza.
Nan was not able to be here, so she will be sending me drafts of what she's going to be sending to the newspaper in the near future when she's able to.
She has the husband. Is it?
Right.
Okay. Sure.
I'm working with the teen think tank at the library to be able to enhance the middle school, high school section. And we have a group of students, actually today we're meeting to create posters with Evan Corey at La Linea and to get those posters distributed into the middle schools and high schools to be able to attract them. But I was wondering if I created a short article with pictures of these kids, if they could be placed in the insert, because I think it would be really exciting. Okay, thank you.
There's no problem. Just work it out with Danitza. Okay, then let's move on to book giveaway with Juanita.
Yes, well, this month we gave away 12 books, 12 winners who were drawn at, let's see, I did the one at Sonoita on January 1st, and Nogales Ed did on January 1st. You did the drawing there. And also Rio Rico on February 2nd because of the power outage. Everything was closed down, including the library. So, and then Tubac was, I believe, Monday with Charlotte Nelson, a patron. And I'm hoping to invite some patrons to do the drawings. So we'll have people there. There were a couple of people there. Grandmother and her grandson were there at Sonoita. So they didn't win, but they were present. And all the books now are accounted for that we wanted to order and are at the libraries, and the clerks can set up however they want to. The displays, I've seen two now at Nogales and Sonoita, and they're quite nice. And there is no charge. People are asking, if there's a charge and wanting to make donations. This is something we might think about in the future. I don't know if that's possible, if we can do donations at the library, but it's certainly something to look into, for drawings. So we're on task and on time.
We'll work out that thing about the donations with Danitza and see if we can place that on a future agenda item. Or if we need a legal opinion or whatever.
Yeah,
so we
we
can
might.
get it done, okay?
Thank you.
March reception, Anna?
We're ready. We have everything. I mean, we have the people, we have 10 authors invited. We have, please send names of the people. I just got a few names today of other people that we may have forgotten. I know that there is going to be a lot of people. There are going to be a lot of people that don't show up, but we want to make sure that we invite them, even though Dr. Varona just reminded us that the fire marshal has a capacity. So at some point, we're going to have to figure out, do we move out as other people move in? And, but we have our lists. We're just waiting for the invitations to be printed. And Denise, the food and everything has been ordered, hasn't it?
You need a microphone.
Food, Danitza is still working with Nichols to get some more proposals. Decorations, we're good with those. The fixing of the roof, we're also set with that one. We already got a proposal for that, and we're going to move forward with it. Other than that, I think we're good. The invitations, they're going to be ready tomorrow afternoon. We ordered 150 invitations. Yes.
And just footnote Anna's presentation, we have been meeting every Monday since January, and we meet at 9:30 in the morning, and we meet at the Nogales Senior Center every morning there, and we provide the entire committee with breakfast there.
Delicious.
And we get everything accomplished that we need to get accomplished, so we've been right on task with that. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Anna on this? Brian?
Not specifically for Anna, but for for you, Chairman Verona, the last meeting I asked for a budget for the Centennial Commission, and it's not on the agenda.
Oh. I focused on the library budget, and to tell you the truth, we forgot on the Centennial, but we'll get that. Matter of fact, do you have it? Okay. Cheryl, can you send it out to the board? She'll send it out to the board today.
Thank you.
Okay, Danitza's going to be busy with a study session here for the mayor and council, and she also has to be at the city council meeting. So if not today, by tomorrow, that'll be out. Okay, I think we're set on all of that centennial celebration. The only thing that I noticed we didn't talk about was the music.
We will have a mariachi group, and that is a local mariachi group. I can't remember the name.
Mariachi Plata. David Hernandez is going to be there, so.
Okay.
Local school students that have grown up and are playing for the community.
We also didn't talk about, make sure, the program. Would you outline what we have, Denise, or Danitza, on the program?
For the program, we will have a welcoming remarks by Ana Doan. We will have another welcoming remark by Dr. Varona. The opening remarks are going to be given by Jay Rockland. There's going to be a musical interlude in that time. After everybody talks, people are just welcome to roam around the library, look at the different displays that we're going to have. And there will also be recognition of sponsors. And I will be needing the names of the sponsors from Marva. And that concludes the program.
Anna has that. Anna has that now. The list of sponsors.
I was thinking about, on the program, should we have the authors listed? Our local authors listed?
They can be listed.
They wouldn't, I mean, just to remind people that they could go back there and view the books that are from our local authors. I presented to the Rotary Club about the book Save Lives. And one of the things I asked them is, how many of you have books that you haven't published? And half of them raised their hand. So I think if we put the local authors down there, people in our community will finish their books. I'm not going to ask the people up here.
Yeah, we'll display the local authors.
Thank you.
And we can list them. That's not a problem on there. I want you to know that we are telling you about the program right now. So if any of you feel that you want to say something at that time, please let Danitza know so we can put you onto the program to speak. We don't want to feel that anybody's being excluded or anything. So just if you want to have something to say on the Centennial or anything, we want to make sure that everybody's listed so that we don't forget anybody. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5. Library Friends update. Ed?
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate Juanita and Danitza on the coordination in the initial selection of books that were drawn. My little support on that was able to secure the tickets, and I unexpectedly wound up selecting the Nogales because of scheduling problems that Marva was not able to follow up on. So, and I wanted to be an observer rather than a participant. And I also went ahead and volunteered for the Rio Rico because we weren't able to get a patron volunteer for that area. And we did the selection in Rio Rico without any problem. And then, of course, Bailey related the experience in Tubac. That worked out very well. So the selection process for the tickets went well. Got responses, good responses actually from patrons. And that was the beauty of the experience. We'll continue to provide that sort of support through the entire celebration period. So we're happy to do that. Friends is cooperating with Danita's coordination.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good to hear. There's a lot of cooperation going on. Okay, let's move on to item 6. Oh, does anybody have any questions for Ed? Let's move on to item 6, library budget. Danitza.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Friends will be meeting after this meeting this morning so that we'll continue our discussion.
Right here?
Here, right here in this.
Danitza, let's go on to library budget now.
We had a director's meeting, and our tentative schedule for next year's budget has been given to us. Right now, we were just given capital and grant requests. And in that, I'm actually going to be requesting for the grant position of the Tubac Library Clerk to be moved to full-time library assistant at the Tubac Library. And because the grant is only for $25,000. And as you know, minimum wage has gone up, but the grant stays the same, and it's not going to be able to cover the 3 clerks, the clerks at Sonoita and Tubac anymore. And if we don't move to the full-time position, then that might be affecting library hours and closures, and I know none of us want that to happen. So I will be asking for that. And I will also be asking for the lobby at the main library to be resurfaced. If you've ever noticed, it's more than 30 years old, and it's really patched and worn out, and we've had a couple of issues. So I will be asking for around $15,000 for that to be resurfaced. And that whole lobby area will be one solid color.
Okay.
And that's what I have for now. Next month, I will have more things.
Okay. Any comments, questions, concerns?
And to address the Tubac cabinet, I will be reminding the county to take that cabinet off. I just have to remind them. And the sink.
Comments, questions, concerns? Ryan?
I would hope this will be on the subsequent meeting agenda too. It's very informative, and I'd like to be kept up to date.
Yeah, this line item will be on the agenda from now on until it's approved.
Thank you.
In July. Okay. So we'll continue to discuss it. So if anybody has any other inputs, feel free to at that time. Anybody else? I do. Anna?
So I'm concerned about cutting library hours and cutting staff, and wondering if we're locked in, if we can work together for some creative solution so that doesn't happen.
Well, when we get to that point, then we'll ask Danitza if there's a concern.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the,
One further comment about the budget, I would encourage you to pad your budget for the Sonoita building. God willing, the river don't rise, so one day we'll have that expansion, and you better prepare for it. So add a little bit by bit, to your budget for that building.
Will do, thank you.
and please don't forget that when Danitza makes her presentation, we would like all board members to be at her presentation in front of the mayor and council.
Just let us know when.
Yeah, we'll just let you know, but just keep it in mind, okay?
Yeah.
It'll probably be sometime in June, and she'll keep us informed, but I think it would be very appropriate that we're all there, so if they have questions, we're there, that we support it and everything. Okay, let's move on now to item 7. Marva? You're up.
I move that we approve. Do we need to do it one by one? Because there are 3 minutes.
You can take them all
November,
at one.
December, and January.
You can make it in one motion.
And some of the board members have indicated that they hadn't even seen the minutes until coming in here this morning.
It's
So
up to you, Marva. You can make
Are
a
we
motion to approve
okay?
or give them time to review it, and we can do it, whatever you want.
I move that we approve all 3 of the minutes. And then if there are corrections, possibly we could address those later. But I move that we approve them at this point, all 3.
Okay, but just one thing before the motion. Once you make a motion to approve,
You can't make corrections.
that's right, you can. That's
Okay.
it. Now, the only way you can do that is to say, okay, we're going to give the members time to read, and we'll put them back onto the next agenda. That we can do. But once they're officially approved, they're officially approved.
The November minutes were sent out. So some of us were able to read, but December and January of this morning, I haven't had a chance to read them. So I think that's a good suggestion that perhaps we delay approval.
I move that we approve the November minutes
Okay,
Okay.
and then do December and January at the next meeting.
okay. There's a motion by Marva to approve the minutes of November 9th, 2022 as presented and recommended. Is there a second to the motion? Second by Anna. Discussion on the motion. Are there any objections to the motion? The motion passes. The minutes for December the 14th of 2022 and January the 11th of 2023 are being tabled to our meeting in March. Correct, Marva?
Yes.
Okay, we're all set then? And once again, Judith, thank you for all the good work you do for us to keep us in line with the minutes. You did a wonderful job. They're better, well, I shouldn't say they're better than the city council because they're gonna, it'll start another whirlwind. Okay. Boy, there seems to be a lot of positive partnerships here. That's great. That's very good. Everybody's helping each other to be successful. Very good. Okay, let's move on to item 6, board reports, current events, summary must be brief, and there cannot be any proposals, discussion, deliberation, or legal action taken. Jerry?
Nothing.
Anna?
Nothing.
Brian?
Nothing.
Juanita?
No.
Marva?
Nothing.
Ed?
Nothing.
Let's move on to the library director's report. 1, Early Childhood Education Month. Reading time with Charlie, First Things First, and Art in Karen Park.
Denise will be talking about these.
Denise.
So like mentioned in the last meeting, February is Early Childhood Education Month. We've been working with Chris Young and the county with Mrs. Doan here in regards to these celebrations. So the first celebration that's going to happen is February 11th. That's going to be at the Calabasas Middle School. The library is going to be present. We're going to have a booth there and a stand with all of our information. We're going to hand out some of the new pamphlets that we have there. Also invite them to the celebration in Rio Rico, the Centennial. Our next meeting from there, the next activity is February 16th at 3:30. We invite all the board members to be present. We're going to have the young author Charlie Sweeney present his book. There's going to be reading time, and we're going to have some snacks there for the people that attend. The flyers have been distributed throughout the county with the schools. We're also going to have some available at the library, and we have them on the Facebook page. Our next event is the event in February 25th. That's with Evan Corey at the Caron Park down there. They're going to have art in the park. They're going to do some rock painting. They're going to have, I think they're going to have like 3 petting zoos available for the kids. The library is also going to be present in that celebration. We're going to have a booth with our information. We're also going to hand out the pamphlets, possibly take some library cards over, because I know where there's the bus is going to be available. So we might have library cards present at all of these events so we can distribute them and work closely with the bus that we have now. Other than that, staff has been doing really good at attending these programs, and we've been busy with the county meetings. Me and Laura have been attending the county meetings with the Early Childhood Education Month. There's a lot of resources that many people don't know of. So I feel really proud that they incorporate the library now in all of these resources available for the children.
Good. Some of those activities I may not be able to attend because I noticed on my calendar I'm going to be out of town, especially on that weekend, okay? Any other questions or comments on that item? Jerry?
What time is the event on February 16th? And would you say again what it is? It's with the author of the...
Yes, so February 16th, it's going to be at the Nogales Library at 3:30. It's a young author. He's 10 years old. He wrote a book. He's going to go ahead and read that book to the children and to the people that attend the the event.
Thank you.
Anybody else? We'll move on to item 2, Act 1 Culture Pass.
I have emailed the board to go with a link about the Act One Culture Pass. I had talked about it a few months ago. I was sent over the letter of agreement by Ann Osborne, who's the director of the program. I'll be reviewing it and signing it, and I'm going to be setting up time with IT so we can get that new benefit to the community started. And what's going to happen is that every card member will be able to get 2 admissions to any park, well, not any park, but like the Reed Park Zoo, Arco Santi Museum. There's different museums and zoos that the public will be able to get access for free. They won't have to pay. That includes the Phoenix Museum, the Modern Museum in Tucson. There's different ones, and the link I emailed all of you so you can see all the places that library card holders will be able to get into for free. And next month, I'll update you on the agreement review and what I've come and how we're going to set up the program with IT.
Okay, continue on.
E-rate funding, along the lines with what Juan was saying earlier, we've begun the process again because every year we have to bid that for E-rate in order for us to get that discount. That discount that comes back to us is usually around $13,000 to $15,000, and with that, we're able to replace printers. We're able to get toners. Just one toner is anywhere for the Nogales and Rio Rico Library is $600. So that E-rate funding is very important for us to get that. So we've begun the process again, and it takes a long. I've been working with a consultant and IT, so the bids go out up until March 28th. The bids come back, and then the funding gets certified. So that's every year around this time. And with that, we're going to be actually adding Sonoida now to the E-rate funding so we can get better internet. So if it doesn't happen through the county, it's going to happen through the library system. The megabytes, we're asking for more megabytes at the Nogales Library and at Tubac. And right now, Rio Rico's okay, and Rio Rico's actually paid through the county. So that's a little bit about the E-rate funding.
Go ahead.
The Rio Rico Library Centennial Celebration, just a reminder, that is next Wednesday, the 15th, from 12 to 3. Anytime, you're welcome to stop by. There's going to be a DJ. There's going to be different activities. Clarissa and Victor are going to be giving out information. There's also going to be face painting for the kids. So that's next Wednesday. We hope to see you there.
When is that?
12 to 3,
Oh, what day?
the 15th. So that's Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Anytime from 12 to 3, you're more than
Out
welcome.
of here, 12 to 3. Oh, I'm
More than welcome to stop by.
Patagonia. I'll catch it at the end then. Okay. Move on.
The themed book displays. So all libraries have been doing displays throughout the year. Right now we have a display up at the Nogales Library Black History Month. It's really nice. We have all the books in the front. We also do displays regarding the celebrations, Valentine's. Sonica Library, I do want to mention they have an event coming up in February 10th from 12 to 2. They're going to do crafts. Lynette up there has been doing really good with the donations. So she got pizza donations and EG. So she's going to have pizza and EGs for the children up there. What else? Microscope workshop at the Nogales Library was a success. We had 10 kids attend the microscope. So like I mentioned in the meeting before, they put the little scopes underneath the microscope and they draw what they see. So the smallest one we had was 5 years old, but from there was from 5 to I think the oldest was 13. So we're going to have those. They really like them. I think we're going to have them at least once every 2 months. Yes. And that would be it.
Very good. Thank you. You go ahead.
This week, I received an email from the Secretary of State's office, and he wants to meet with me and get a tour of the library. I will be meeting with him this Friday.
Who is he?
So the new Secretary of State is Adrian Fontes, and he will
Just
be
graduated.
he will be here on Friday at 10 a.m. at the Nogales Library.
In case you people, you would like to be there. I can't be there. I have another commitment. but in case anybody can be there, please attend. Jerry?
And following that, at 12 o'clock, there's going to be a reception for him for $20.24 on Friday. There'll be a luncheon in his honor, sponsored by the Democratic Party, if anybody's interested.
Where's the luncheon at, Jerry?
We do not know yet.
So it's a surprise.
Okay,
Yeah, we would allow Republicans to come, so Marcy, you're invited.
thank you.
Is that the one scheduled for Bowman?
No, they don't know yet. They haven't
Yeah.
announced it.
What time?
Okay, we are
Adrian Ponte.
Are you finished with your updates? Okay, we're finished with the updates there. We're going to move on to future agenda items. Jerry?
Nothing at this time.
Brian?
Nothing.
Marva? Ed?
Nothing.
Juanita?
Just a reminder about the donations, find out if they're
Would you put that on the
Permitted.
agenda for us to discuss at our next,
donations for drawings or whatever.
whatever?
Yeah.
You know, legal.
Could you do me a favor, Juanita? Would you send an email to Danitza on exactly what you,
Absolutely.
so we know if we need to talk it over, if she needs to talk it over with the deputy or the city manager before she goes to the attorney,
Sure.
okay? That we're clear on that. Anna?
Could you repeat what time Adrian Fontes will be at the library on Friday?
He will be there at 10 in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next date of our meeting is March the 8th. I hope everybody can be here for March the 8th. That will be after our centennial celebration. And we look forward to seeing everybody at the centennial celebration. And please don't forget, we'll have some recognitions there and everything. It's just going to be 2 hours long. And that's it. And we're still working on it. The only thing that's left, if any of you want to be on the program to say anything, Ed, if you want to say anything on Friends of the Library or anything like that, feel free to just, it's your responsibility to tell Danitza so she, before the program gets printed, so
Right.
you can be on there. Entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting at 11:38. 11:38.
So moved.
Motion by Anna.
Second.
Second by Brian to adjourn this meeting at 11:38. The meeting is adjourned. Thank